Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I appreciate you guys having me here. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll begin with a brief introduction of myself, who I am, and then we'll get our presentation for the company. I'm looking forward to the great questions that you guys will have at the end. So I'm Char Saintilus. I was born and raised in Haiti. I've been in the States for some 14 odd years now. I moved to the U.S. when I was 9 years old. Been here ever since. I lived in South Florida most of my life, and I went to the University of Florida State University, and I just graduated from there. I moved to Gainesville, fortunately, but it's working out pretty well so far. As an undergrad at Florida State, I was wondering, what I wanted to do, before graduating, and I got this idea of starting a business. And I decided after doing some research that management consulting was the thing that I should get into. Even though I had no business experience or had studied any business really. And so I started a management consulting firm, advising companies on strategy, startup companies, small businesses, mid-sized organizations, as well as educational institutions as well. I did that for a while after graduating, and then since I've been working in the industry, I kind of discovered some of the pains and so forth. And so with that, we're building ConMart to address some of those issues. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. So ConMart is a virtual consulting marketplace that connects the top 1% of consultants in the world across marketing, strategy, and finance to companies, corporations. The idea is to use machine learning algorithms to do this a lot faster, to automate the process. Initially, it won't be done using machine learning and its basic programming logic, but ultimately this is the goal, right? To automate the entire platform so that any company in the world could go on ConMart, submit a project, and be matched within seconds, minutes if not seconds, to one of the best consultants in the world. So the problem that we're trying to solve, we know that businesses hire consultants, right? This is sort of how the marketplace operates. It's a fact. We also know that most businesses, average company, doesn't really want to go out and find a consultant. Some of them, not all, but some can't really afford to hire the consulting firms, even though they may have the need, right? Some of us are consultants in here. We see the need in many places. But there's so much time spent on sourcing, trying to find the right people, and then, or just the right consulting firms, and going through RFPs, and all of this long process just to hire a firm. This takes at the very least months, right? If you're trying to onboard a firm for some consulting project's going to last a couple of months. Our problem is two-sided. That was the first side with the businesses. Let's talk about the consultants. So consultants at some of the top consulting firms are constantly burning out. If you take someone who may have graduated from, say, Chicago or something like that, a business school, and they go and work at a firm like Bain, right? That person is expected to work there for about 2 to 3 years at most. Most people, 90-95% of them, don't make it past the 3-year mark. And that's not reflective of just the fact that people switch jobs very often nowadays. That's not staying in the industry and working for another company. That's just leaving it entirely, right? So we're trying to figure out how do we sort of overcome this, right? These two problems. Some of the solutions currently in the marketplace are just sort of digital reflections of how the process already works in the real world. There's just a website now. Folks are just building websites, but it's still the same slow process. Still takes at the very least some of the best solutions out there take days before you can actually get matched. We do this in minutes. So, top consultants, you've worked somewhere, you've done well. You don't really want to deal with the competitiveness, the sort of headache of working in a big consulting firm. You want to be perhaps independent. You don't want to deal with the pressure and the headache. That's what our solution does, right? As a marketplace, we connect in businesses with those consultants, and we do so reliably, and we do it very fast. Let's talk a little bit about the market. So, management consulting it's sort of an ill-defined market, right? The market size ranges, from as low as 90 billion to upwards of like 350 billion, right? Our estimation says that the management consulting industry is about a $245 billion industry. Internet consulting is about $80 billion. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that by 2025, a few years from now, about over half of the workforce will be in some way freelancing, right? That's over half the workforce. That's something to sort of think about, and that number is already pretty high. So we have millions of potential customers in the U.S. As a tech company. We're not really limited by geography, right? So if someone, say, in India, right, who has worked at a consulting firm and has the experience and qualifications that we require, they can also join ConMart, and they can be qualified to work with the businesses that we match them with. So there are tons of potential customers and consultants as well. There's a constant supply and demand for what it is that we're offering. Let's look at the landscape for the competition. We have companies all over the world. By geography, these guys are in Australia, and these guys are here in the U.S., locations here in London, and some of these companies have actually been acquired. Spielberg was recently acquired by a company called TopTal. TopTal has a very similar model that we do. They have a marketplace as well, so they match the top 3% of software engineers and designers to companies. Some of these guys are in Eastern Europe. So here in the U.S., there are no major players in the marketplace. So we still have very much an opportunity to gain some market share. These are some of the features of ConMart. So obviously, most of these companies, the idea is to offer you the best consultants, but you look at, say, the price points that they offer, say, $75 an hour for a consultant, right? And that sets them distinctly apart from what it is that we're doing, because we're thinking at a much higher sort of echelon. Confidentiality, we also offer. Also, the automated matching is a big feature for us. So we offer a socially driven business model. Our idea is for every consulting project that we do on ConMart, a percentage of that will go to a micro-lending fund. That fund will go to support microloans to entrepreneurs in third world countries, places like Bangladesh, Haiti, Ethiopia, places like that. So obviously at ConMart, we're able to match consultants a lot faster. Some of the other guys, they're doing it, they're submitting something, and they'll get one of their account executives to look at it and look through the database and try and match you someone. It's just a sort of, by hand matching service, right? Our process is completely automated so that we achieve matching 98% faster than the new competitor. There is no bidding on the platform, so you're able to match immediately. We also, as we said here, circumvent the bidding process because the rates are not set too low, so that we're not competing based on, say, price. Right? So the idea is a company will not come to ConMart because they are looking to hire consultants as cheap as possible, right? The expectation to get real value, real work, high caliber work is and will still be there. So the price expectation is also there, and that's of course the benefits of our consultants. So businesses on ConMart obviously pay a fee for every project. Say the project is $10,000, there's a percentage of that that's obtained by us. That's sort of a finder's fee, if you will. And as I already mentioned, the micro-lending fund is there as well. We, right now, in terms of how we're going, about our launch is it's not very specific. It's sort of a shotgun approach. Social media events, and obviously our website, and different advertising platforms. customers that we target are primarily large corporations, SMEs, medium-sized enterprises being a better target than small enterprises, and also funded and growing startups. So companies who say we require help with building a financial model, right? Those are the folks that we'll target initially as we launch, because those projects are very well defined. So one of the issues with ConMart is trying to define, what a project is, and then also trying to price it, right? If someone is looking for assistance with, developing some process improvement, the business process improvement, how you price that is sort of a problem on its own, right? If someone's looking to build a financial model, that's a very easy problem to solve. This is sort of a timeline that we're working with. But this is, I think, very much outdated. It's been modified from today. That's ConMart, your business delivered.